what I'm hoping to teach in this live stream today is how these things should not be feared in the long run. In the short run, yeah, of course. Listen, I have stocks that have plummeted. What's the funny thing is, I own Intel. My basis on Intel is like 32. So how much am I down now? 40%. Mm-hmm. I don't have fear of that one. Why? Because I look at it going, I have a small enough amount where if I lose it all, I don't care. But it's big enough amount where if it works, I've added some alpha. But Intel, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm wrong on Intel. And I've always said it's a turnaround play. But when stocks in general as a whole, the entire market's going down, to me, that's an easier thing because you have to realize, like, who here really believes the market's going to zero, ever? -10, look at that, too. Oh, wow, AC, look at that. I've been here since you guys have had less than 1,000 subs. Wow. I'm 46, that's why I'm afraid. So, Carrie, good news, Carrie, when do you plan on retiring? This is a great comment from Carrie Plumley. I'm 46, that's why I'm afraid. I'm not much younger than you. I'm 43. But if you're planning to retire at 50, I get that. And then I would say to you, hey, should you have this much money in stocks? Right? But if you're planning on retiring at 65, 19 years, I mean, look at Mo. Mm-hmm. 2000 peak to 2020, even after the crash of 2020, the market was still up in that 20-year period. Not much, because I think the market peaked in March of 2020, of 2000 at like 1,500. And then at the bottom, in March of 2020, I think it was at 2,100. So not much growth. Maybe 40%, but dividends along the way. But it took literally the peak of the market to a monster crash, a 40% crash in 1 month to experience that big loss. That's what's big here. And it's okay to be scared, because if you're scared and you acknowledge that, then you can work on it. That's what's most important. No fear when you're a socio. Hey, I don't know how to, Flavio, that's a great comment. I'm 26, so that's why I'm in a -10. Okay, Don Wilson said, a little nervous retiring and starting to sell my investments. Exactly. Almost cost me my life. Yeah, so these are the things that as what we're trying to teach on this channel is really important. It's not just about picking individual stocks. It's about a process for picking stocks as well as a process for the stomach. And that's what we're really trying to get to in this. And that's what I'm trying to, these channels were created originally to teach people about numbers. And then as time went on, I started to see how people were reacting. I realized, okay, it's not really only about the numbers. It's about trusting the numbers. And as you go forward, how do you handle it when the market price and Mr. Market has a crazy time on the upside or the downside? We've all seen the upside very, very, very easily. But we've also seen, Mo, how was Meta on the downside when it went to 88? Do you remember that time? What were people saying?
It was over. That company was going out of business.
Done.
It was over.
Right? And then what ended up happening?
And one day, just everything magically changed because they had a good report or something like that.
I don't remember what it caused them to all of a sudden spike up.
I don't remember what it was. It just started moving. I think it was a good report. I can go back in time. But yeah, that was wild. Because people were saying it was a dead company.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg needs to be fired. He's terrible. He's not a good. So the goal here then is we're trying to teach you in this how our community, how our software, how this YouTube channel can help increase your profitability, for one. That's most important. But two, how are you going to be more profitable? And you're going to be more profitable by being more at peace with yourself and with what the market's reactions are doing. Morgan Housel, how many times have I said this quote? Every past bear market, every past crash looks like an opportunity. Every future one looks like a risk. No, they're all an opportunity. Now, obviously, seeing your account go down and down and down. Guys, my family and I are about ready to have a nice exit that's coming here in a few months with a nice check. Of course, I sit there and go, man, what if I put the money in the market and the market fell 50%? That money goes in half. Guys, I think about those things. Of course I do. I'm human. Nobody's immune to these things. That's okay to have fear, but it's also, it's okay because you have to remember that you have to figure out the right ways in which to handle the fear. So let's just go, prime example. I was at home this morning. I delayed coming to the office because my grandson, I know you're going to laugh saying Paul's 43, has a grandson. He comes over on Wednesdays with his mother, and my wife, she takes care of him. So I stay a little bit longer so I can see him. Well, this morning I'm holding him. I put him down on the ground, and one of my dogs like jumped on him, and he fell and hit his corner on our marble island and welt immediately. Fear triggered inside me. Why? Because I don't know that. I've never seen that before with a child. So of course my fear is what's going on here. So you call, one of the mother's cousins who's a nurse, and she said, hey, I Googled it. Fear is unknown, right? When we don't understand something, we don't know something. I don't know what's going to happen with this big welt on his head. The kid's 20 months old. That's fear. When you haven't experienced a crash, when you sit there and see these things, like I look at this Twitter poll, and I love the fact I have 153 votes and 65% of people have been around in the market for 1 to 5 years. You probably haven't seen real fear, and that's okay. The great news is you have YouTube. You have us. You have the potential of this community to help you learn. Because remember, you're going to end up being the average of the people you spend your time with. And if you're like me, we were talking the other day, Mo, if it wasn't for this channel and me, who would you talk to about money and investing? No one.
There's no one out there.
No one. Nobody has friends who think
everybody in my life is an idiot.
Our friends are hype followers. They don't think they are. They sit there and they love these they look at results. Sure, go ahead.
The funny thing is they don't even pay attention to the stock market unless it's making new highs or it's crashing.
Correct.
Outside of that, doesn't matter. Nobody even acknowledges that it exists.
Yeah. So you sit there and say, if it wasn't for that, like when I started getting in the stock market in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was no social media. There was nobody out there. I remember reading about Warren Buffett and going, oh, this makes sense. But who did I learn from? No one. I had to read on my own. You guys have the benefit of this community. You have the benefit of YouTube. These are the things that you can use to make better decisions in life, because you're going to do better. You're going to do better if you're able to handle your emotions. So, guys, right in here, so describe the emotions you get when the market goes down. When you see a big day, like let's say a Monday, the market opened, NASDAQ opened down 6%. Be honest with me. What is your immediate reaction feelings-wise? What are the feelings you get inside when you see that? I really want to see what everybody has to say about that. So Northwest Canopy Development, we will be talking about some stocks later maybe, but this live stream is really about, we'll get into that when we talk about the software, but it's really about, with recent events, we're here to talk about the emotions in the market, because you can love every stock in the world, but if you're not buying them at the right time, it does not matter. If you can't handle your emotions, it doesn't matter. Happy, Lieutenant Dan. Tyler, I understand. He had FOMO. We all have FOMO. But you got to remember, there'll be other buying opportunities. Buy time. My emotions are mixed. I don't know what to buy. Want to buy more. I cry with a smile. I mean, it's cool because soon there'll be plenty of opportunities to buy some stock. I think it's a great way to look at it, Color Scream. When the market's down, my impulse is to buy. That's awesome. Time to buy. Last couple of days have been pretty uneasy. I was excited. Honestly, that's awesome. Emotion on down days, I'm going shopping. What a great outlook. Look at Ulta. Ulta's a great example. By the way, I had puts on Ulta at 375. Do you think I was mad that it went to 320? I'm like, no, I would have paid 375 in a heartbeat for Ulta for me. So I'm fine with that. New buying opportunities, buy, dollar cost average, the positions. Wish I had more money on the sideline, setting to sell stocks I think are good to buy Black Monday sale. Are you selling covered calls on a day like today? Dalton's in charge of our covered calls. Anxiety mixed with excitement. Ben, do me a favor. Explain that further. Anxiety mixed with excitement. I want to hear more about that. So Tim, if you believe in these companies, Meta, Palantir, I don't know who HNST is. If you believe in them, why'd you sell them, even if they felt overpriced? I've made that mistake before. Thoughts on Intel at 20. I sold puts. We'll see if I get them. Hans, that's great. I love it. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Yes, it does. That's an investment in knowledge, and an investment in part of the knowledge is not just knowing things, but feeling things, the right feelings about things. Guys, so I guess my question is, for those who have fear, are you worried your savings are going to zero? Is it going to wipe out your potential retirement? Like, what's the fear there when you do have fear? And by the way, guys, we haven't seen a bear market. Like a 10% drop is not a bear. That's a correction. A bear market, I mean, there'll be something that happens at some point where we're going to have a real, in your lifetime, especially with our age. Look at the age here. I'm going to repeat here until we're blue in the face. I have 177 votes. 2/3 of everybody is probably very young because they only have 1 to 5 years in the market. In your lifetime, you will have multiple crashes that are very scary. It's going to happen. I posted yesterday on Twitter. I love Twitter polls. When do you think you're going to pass away? How long are you going to live? And a quarter of the people said 90 plus.
Oh, wow.
So if you're 25, you're going to live to 90 plus. You got 65, 70 more years of your life left.
Mm-hmm.
How many crashes are they going to see in their lifetime?
A lot.
I mean, 65 years ago was 1960.
Well, maybe not a lot anymore.
I mean, the more you know, the less you fear. That's correct. I have a feeling we're going to a bear market. Maybe so.
Maybe.
So I said before, and I've said this, I want to understand, like when we have a fear, it's like, besides having this fear, it's also about digging deep. Guys, you guys know I'm big into therapy. I go to therapy. I'm big into understanding my emotions. Whenever I have anxiety, I'm thinking to myself, what is the underlying fear here? What's the fear here? So when stocks are going down, for me, when I used to fear that, it was a fear of my money going to zero. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that fear anymore.
It's a rational fear.
What was that?
It's an irrational fear.
Well, listen, back in the dot-com days, I remember my dad had a doctor friend who had $5 million in dot-com stocks. And I remember after the crash, I said, what is it now? He's like, oh, like 40,000. He lost 99% of his money because he was...
I guess if you're stock picking, it's not an irrational fear.
Yeah, but even then, if you're stock picking
hype, yeah,
that's the problem.
I meant irrational
fear. Oh, wow. Jim is
stock
75 years old. What was that?
I meant irrational fear as in the stock market is going to zero. That's what I thought you meant.
And a great comment that was made once to me, I think it was from Dalton. He read this. If you're invested in the stock market in general as a whole, the reason you have to buy in is because if you don't buy in, if it goes to zero, it's not going to matter. So you may as well buy it.
Exactly.
You may as well buy. So I look at Intel, for example. Is Intel going to zero? That's the question I ask myself. And then I use my stock analyzer tool. When I use my stock analyzer tool, this is what I use to sit there and say, what does the future of Intel look like based on 3 levels of assumptions? That's what's so great there. Now, if you're 75 years old like Jim is, a stock market crash is going to affect you a lot different than if you're 25 years old, right? The fear is not knowing what to buy when everything is going down. Don't want to miss the opportunity. Julie, great comment. I said in a video yesterday, I like picking individual stocks, but guess what? If I don't know what to buy and the market's down, I'll just buy an ETF until I know what I want to buy. Because you buying an ETF when stocks are down is saying, hey, I don't know what's the most on sale. I'm just going to buy everything. What a great way to be, isn't it? My initial feeling is the fear that my hard-earned money is going down because I haven't been thrown any major crashes. Great, Ben. Great comment. 17 years old, a lifetime in my hands to invest. So that's right, Tyler. That's correct. Intel's going to anywhere between 0 and 75 the next 12 months, maybe. Anxiety left after I sold my business. Took 30 days to relax. Life is good now, Paul. That's awesome, Jim. Congratulations. Intel can go to zero. Listen, yes, it can go to zero. But what does that world look like if it goes to zero? Now, how do you prepare for a market crash? Guys, how would you want to prepare for a market crash? Let me ask that question. People always talk about like, oh, there's a crash coming, there's a crash coming. Remember, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So how do you think you'd prepare for a market crash? Because these are the things. Yes, a correction is 10%, a bear market's 20%. Mo, what do you consider a market crash to be? And to me, it has to do with 2 things, time and severity.
Yeah, because I mean, even in retrospect, looking at I guess COVID was a crash.
Oh, of course it was. It was 40% in 1 month.
But it recovered so fast.
I know. But it was still a crash.
It was still a crash. So that's where I'm like, yeah, it was a crash, but it wasn't really like a sustained crash, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's, of course, I'm saying that as a Monday morning quarterback. You don't know that it's going to be that way. Hell, I thought that was the beginning of it.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to pull back 60% and stay there for a while, and it would take a long time to march back.
That's what I thought. So comments. Cypri, 100,000 at 25 sounds pretty good. I don't know your financial situation. MP, I sold all my Walgreens at like $32 a long time ago when I realized I was wrong on Walgreens. Keep my job and keep investing. That's wonderful. I've survived 89 I think it was 87 Black Monday. 2000 tech bubble, 8 financial. I'm still ahead. That's right, Aranda. That's a great outlook. Look at Aranda. Aranda's been around for a long time. The 87 crash. That's 37 years ago. That's incredible. No, I sell at lower prices, Paul, when I sell puts. Ulta, Lulu, and Nike. I definitely agree on Ulta and Nike. Lulu, I'm kind of apprehensive about only because it's such a newer brand. Yeah, Diego, you're right. COVID was a crash, but not a bear market. I think it's a great comment.
Yep.
It was technically a bear market, but it rebounded so quickly. I think that's the feeling. You kind of go, you know, to me, a bear market feels like it's just a long sideways movement. You know,
people start going away.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it anymore.
Guys, the pendulum has to swing to the opposite side. You know, right now, guys, who here might be, like, you know, if you're watching this channel, you're probably not following the hype as much. Now, you still might be following the hype. I get that. And it's exciting to see these companies go up and down and yada, yada, yada. But when you're around your friends, what do you hear them saying? Like, I look at this going, when I hear, you know, the analogy I gave was 2 or 3 years ago when I went to play golf at Firestone and the caddy recognized me and he goes, "Oh, I watched Tom Nash." He's like, "Paul, you're wrong on Bitcoin and Palantir." And I'm like, "Okay, that sounds good." And I remember thinking to myself, like, man, a 17-year-old caddy thinking that, and I said to him, like, "Hey, what do you think Palantir is going to make?" "A lot of money." "Okay, but does that make it worth 45? "Oh, absolutely." It's like, okay. It's just, at some point you got to realize, like, in the short run, if people are making money very easily, like in Bitcoin, things like that, probably an issue there. Look at Amazon. Amazon's a company that I've been wrong on for a while. And Amazon really is hard to understand to me because their gross margin is so low, but they keep growing, et cetera, with a lot of potential. But they've been flat, actually down for the last 4 years. Mm-hmm. And Mo and I last night went to dinner.
I can't believe this.
We were literally sitting in Chipotle. By the way, the worst Chipotle experience ever last night.
It was incredible.
It was terrible. And Mo was like, "Paul, I didn't think you were right when you said that." I'm like, just like when a person messaged me and said, "Hey, Paul, Amazon's flat for 4 years." I was like, "No way." And I'm like, holy shit, they're right. It is flat for 4 years.
I have it here on my screen right here. This is incredible. This is July 13th of 2020. We're sitting at the same price today.
Yeah.
And you can see it's gone up, it's gone down, it's gone as high as 200 and it's gone as low as $80, but it is consistently at 165. It's incredible.
And guys, on my Twitter poll now, I have 204 votes. Again, 65% are 1 to 5 years, 21% 6 to 10 years, 5.5% 11 to 15 years, 8.8% 16 years plus. And again, follow me on Twitter, guys, at EMPaulG. I love Twitter polls. This is my 40th poll I've posted this year. I love doing them. I love talking to people. And if you're part of the community, if you pay for our community and you want me to follow you on Twitter, message me on Twitter, because I will follow you as long as you're a paying member and as long as you engage with things. Because I actually want to make it so I only follow the select few of our followers. I want to have a couple hundred people I follow and it be the people that are part of our community. Even though we have thousands of people and growing, I still want it to be the active, because I really want to be active on Twitter more and more. It's been an incredible tool to get a gauge of what's going on out there. Now, do I go to Twitter to learn from people? A little bit, but a lot of Twitter is becoming like LinkedIn, Mo, where it's like, unpopular, like, "Hey, would you rather buy a house or a car? One's an asset, one's a liability." And I just write back, "They're both assets. You cannot change the rules of accounting just because you want to be fancy and cute." So
yeah, LinkedIn is terrible.
So guys, let me know, are you guys understanding what I'm talking about when it comes to crashes? You understand the reasons I'm asking these questions is to sit there and pull back the layers of maybe these questions haven't been asked of you, or maybe you've thought of these questions, but you haven't thought deeper about them. Are these good questions that you guys feel are important to understanding the long-term stomach and the long-term emotion of the markets? This is what I really want to focus on this channel even more, where we do all the numbers, we do the stocks, but more importantly is how you're able to handle the stomach of it all. Does this help you to talk about this? Because guys, I've been investing for 27 years, and guess what I do? I still repeat the same things over and over to myself every single day. Every investment's a present value off future cash flow. Stocks are a voting machine in the short run, a weighing machine in the long run. Intel fell to $19 a share. And I thought to myself, stocks are a voting machine in the short run, a weighing machine in the long run. The question is the weight behind Intel going to be worth it down the road? That's the question. That's the big question. LinkedIn is terrible. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. But these are very, very important. These are very important things to understand. Now, let me ask you this question, guys. Everybody here wants to improve their financial future, right? What does that mean to you? Because again, this is an individual question. What does it mean to you that you would, like for me, when I think of improve my, Mo, what do you think about when you think about improving your financial future? A guy who has tens of millions of dollars, what does it mean to you to, and wears Crocs that look like they've been through, how long have you had those Crocs?
12 years.
You're embarrassing. You showed up to Chipotle yesterday and I literally thought you were homeless.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah. Big shot, drives a $180,000 Mercedes.
I'm a man of the people. Yeah, that's a great question. I never really thought about it.
Why not?
I don't know.
Because you have too much?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I do think that Lost Islanders just said financial freedom. I think that's the big thing that everybody wants to see.
But don't we have enough freedom with the money we have?
Yes.
But?
I still want more.
But what does more freedom entail to you?
I don't know. What is it?
Guys,
it makes me do what I want to.
But
it makes me do every single thing in my life that I want to do.
But you could already do that right now.
I could,
what can't you do?
Fly private.
You can fly private.
I can, but I would be more comfortable having more money flying private.
How much more? By the way,
let me do some math.
We're not trying to sound like snobs here.
No, I'm not.
What we're trying to do is show you guys that two guys with a lot of money still struggle with the what does more mean to you? What does what does it mean to have? What does it mean to have more freedom? That's what does improving your financial future mean to you guys? I really want the answers in here. Please write them down. What does improving your financial future mean? Be honest with me. By the way, I hope somebody's just like write something completely honest and open about things. Like, be vulnerable right now. Sit there and say like, hey, you know what? My parents went bankrupt twice and it put a toll on our family and I never want to have that happen. So what does financial freedom mean to me? If I spend $100,000 a year, I want 5 million so that I never ever go broke. I want to hear something like that. Yeah. I can travel wherever and whenever I want. Great. Stop working. Okay.
That's a good one.
Health is the greatest wealth. Learn the hard way. Yeah, you're right, value seeker.
That's true.
More money, more problems. Being able to retire early. How early, damn guard? How early is early? Retire by 50 to spend time with my wife and kids. That's great, Josh. Working because you want to work, not because you have car payments. So you know what's funny about that? It's a great comment, Tim. When people ask me what I do for a living, I sarcastically sometimes say I'm retired. Why? Because I always say to people, what's retirement to you? They always say the most common answer is doing whatever I want, whenever I want. I go, that's what I do. I do this YouTube channel because I want to do the YouTube channel. The biggest issues we have on this YouTube channel is I don't want to do a video, and I know we need to do a video, but I go, but I don't want to do that video because I don't need to do that video, but we should do that video. Does that make sense? But these are the things I enjoy talking about. Listen to you all day. Thank you so much. The ability to afford any curveball my life throws at me and always afford anything for my kids' sports gear, their college and family trips. Zach, that's a great comment. Zach's one of our original members. Buy a country for a true libertarian state. Hey, Wes, when you do that, have you read Atlas Shrugged, Wes?
It's a good book.
Yeah. Enough money to have more free time with my family. Yeah. I want freedom to see the truth. Man. Where did it come from and why are we on this earth? The ultimate truth. I think about that all the time. I think we're only going to learn that when we die. Retired in my 50s due to health. Thank God we're okay financially. That is good. Being able to say to people I don't like respect and helping the people I do like respect. That's a great one, Greg. How old are you, Greg? I can quit my corporate job and work a job with friends and family. Wow. I want to retire when I achieve 5 million. Brad, how far are you from that? Hot Fiva said, financial freedom to me means I have the ability to enjoy life without stressing about bills. Yeah, to not starve under medical debt. Man, that's good. Thanks, Dave. Live wherever I want and go wherever I want, and my wife not having to work. Man, these are great comments, guys.
This is a good one. Physically challenged, wheelchair bound, got a reasonable job, and I need more money to enjoy life like a person without physical restrictions. That's a good one.
Ooh, look at this one by Pedro. Very open. My parents always fought about money. I called my father to ask money because my mom couldn't ask. I struggled with money my whole life. Do you still struggle with money, Pedro? What does that struggle entail? Ryan Dunn. Retirement to me is to play golf every day. And isn't Ryan Dunn who died? He's from Medina here.
This is a good one. I watched my blue-collar parents lose a bunch of money in 2008 and struggle. I learned from that and want to be able to retire comfortably, travel, provide for my children. Marg's on the beach.
Armageddon Records. I'm from a very poor family in Mississippi. Wow. Help make Mississippi the next innovation hub. I love that. What do you think of, yeah. Guy, and by the way, Vilo, I know you want to talk about stocks individually. Everybody does. But this live stream is more about how to protect yourself and profit from corrections and crashes, because it has to do a lot with the emotional side, which is going to pay a lot more right now than worrying about individual companies. But we have lots of videos about that. I'm not saying don't do it, but that's also why we have the community here for you to talk about those individual companies. Everything money therapy session. I think going wherever, whenever is retirement to me. I'd love to be near family and also vacation whenever. Yeah, I think this is the best conversation. Tim just said it's the best conversation we ever had. Guys, I just did my budget for next year for my wife and I. What was my largest increase? What was my largest increased line item in my budget?
Chipotle.
Travel.
What were you going to say, Tim, Nick?
I said Chipotle.
Travel is my number one budget increase. And I've always told my wife, I said, every year we have I pay myself more. You know, the business profit might go up 30% by whatever it is, but the number one increase for it is travel, because we truly enjoy traveling. We love taking her kids traveling. We love taking the family. And that's something, and Lisa even said to me, she goes, Paul, when I first met you, you didn't travel at all. I didn't take a vacation. I'm not one of those guys bragging about it. From the time I left college in 2003 until 2012. And then when I went on that first vacation, I bought a house in that neighborhood. But I didn't do it. I didn't take a vacation, not because I just didn't want to. I wasn't in relationships. My friends didn't have money. So it was kind of hard to go on trips. You know what I mean? Well, let's see what Ben said. Have the ability to help people who have helped me. That's great.
A good one.
Diet Coke budget. This is Diet Coke from McDonald's right here. Coke Zero out of the can is better. I grew up in a farm, constant financial insecurity. I want to create intergenerational financial security.
How much do you spend on McDonald's a year?
If I were to guess, probably $2,000.
Oh, that's not bad.
Well,
I mean,
it's a lot.
It is a lot.
Why are you laughing?
Because this is awesome.
It's daily though, so.
Oh, Brad, really? That's incredible. Paul, do you RV? I don't RV, Jim, but my wife wants to RV. We always see these, I love those Sprinter vans that they deck out. We definitely want to do that. As a business owner, I feel semi-retired already. Lost Islander, you're right. But when you first started your business, you probably didn't feel retired at that point. My grandparents and parents live in depression. My parents always told me, never give your money away because you work hard for it. That's true. It's exposed. I mean, I'm 33 and started investing 2 months ago. Am I too late? You're never too late. You are. Great question. You're never too late. Would you want to go back in time and start then? Sure, but you're never too late. I know people who start in their 50s. Guys, let me ask you this question. How do you want to live during retirement compared to what you're living at today? So in our retirement calculator here, guys, one of the first questions we ask, one of the last questions we ask is, what's your current annual income before taxes, and what percentage of your income do you want to have in retirement? Now, most people's spending goes down during retirement. They usually have paid off cars, paid off houses, kids are out of the house, etc. But how do you want your life to look like in retirement from a spending perspective versus what it is today? Do you want it to be better, worse? I mean, I say worse. I don't really mean literally worse, but is it more important to you to sacrifice? Let me ask this question. If you could retire tomorrow, but your income fell in half and you have to make sacrifices, but you could retire tomorrow, is that enough for you? Would you be okay with that? What's more important to you? Not working and retiring, or waiting a few more years, but living a better retirement? That's really important. That's really important. Yeah. Severin, great comment. My father started investing in his 50s. All he ever did was buy an apartment, made 15% compounded annual growth rate, never too late. That's the thing. We just started a real estate channel. Real estate's a great way to get money invested, less emotional, and it allows you, my question I just asked you, how do you want to live in retirement? What's important to you for your retirement budget? And I think people need to understand that. I don't think that's talked about enough. One of the things we're going to add to Everything Money is a budget tool. because we want people to see, how do you spend now? I want to show my budget, but it's a little cocky, so I don't think I'm going to show it. But I want to show you guys, like, I have all the money I need and I still have a budget. It's always a joke amongst our wealthy friends that I'm probably one of the wealthier ones, and yet I'm the one with the budget and everybody else doesn't have a budget. I have a budget. I love living under a budget. To me, it's fun to make sacrifices. I recently showed Mo a watch that I wanted, but I didn't have my budget to buy the watch. I didn't buy it. Did I have the money? Of course, I had the money 100 times over to buy it in my checking account. But I was like, nope, it's not in my budget. I spent too much this month. I can't buy it. I love that about me. No more working for the man. Financial freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I live in California. Needs all the money, all of it. We're going to do a video on Disney earnings results after this. You could die before retirement, Waleed. Guess what? My wife always says this. As you guys know, my wife is older than me. Maybe you don't know this. I'm 43. She's going to be 60 later this year. And luckily, she does not look 60. She does not act 60. She does not move like she's 60. She looks like she's 40. Mo, how old do you think Lisa does look? Do you think she looks 45?
Yeah, 45, 46, 47,
yeah,
somewhere in there.
So, but I do think to myself, she's got limited time on this earth versus me. And that's why a big reason why my budget is, Mikey said to me the other day, he goes, yeah, your money changed totally. When I said, I'm like, I don't want to all of a sudden Lisa be 80 and I start spending more money. Like, no, I want her to enjoy the things we do now. What watch, Paul? It was actually an Hermes watch. Let me show it. It was carbon fiber. I don't think they have it on the website. I married a cougar. I did marry a cougar. Lippy, it is not too late, but I would encourage you to look at real estate potentially. That's a good way to catch up. And the great thing about real estate is you can own it during retirement. It can generate income for you. That's the great thing about real estate. Stop working on time while you're still healthy. My dad got on pension only 5 years later. He's in a wheelchair. That's sad. Sorry, Jurgen. Luckily, she doesn't look 60. What do I have against older women? I have nothing against older women. You're offended. Aranda, can you expand on that? I have a friend. You need to understand. Oh, they deleted that. Oh, Pet Tech. Value Seeker. First off, Hermes is nice, but Pet Tech's a totally different level. Different level. I got Lisa a Pet Tech this year, and she freaking loves it. Ryan Dunn, we'll talk about Palantir. We did a Palantir video, so go check that out. Monday. It'll be out Monday? We put it out Monday on the 24/7 channel. Let's see here. I like 18-year-old women who look 50. You're disgusting. What's the real estate YouTube? Adamu, you're going to laugh when I say this. We're not telling people. We want people to either have to search it out or it be suggested to them. We're not going to advertise it. We haven't advertised it. It has a couple hundred followers, I think, right now. So it's growing. It's growing nicely. We've only had it out for, how long have we had it out? A week?
1 week this afternoon.
So 1 week today, but we're not telling anybody about it because the way YouTube works is we got to make sure it grows naturally. Okay, now guys, I bring this all up. So let's update my little, I have 264 votes. Now it's, okay, so more people who are voting now are later because we were at 1.70% here on 1 to 5 years, and now we're at 61.7. And again, at EM Paul G, make sure you follow me. Whenever somebody joins the community, the first thing I encourage them to do, go to Retirement Calculator. Guys, I have all the money I ever need, ever. How much money is it? It's a virtual guarantee I become a billionaire as long as I make 5% returns. Okay, that's not meant to be cocky. It's meant to say the next statement. I'm the #1 user of Retirement Calculator in our entire software. We have how many thousands of users, and the #1 by a long shot is me. Can you verify that's still true? Yeah. Tim, year to date. #1 is still me. I'm never going to retire. I have more than I ever need, and I still use Retirement Calculator. Why is that? The stomach, the mentality. I want to remind myself, if I feel like I'm getting too aggressive, remind myself, Paul, you don't need to be aggressive. That's what's important about Retirement Calculator. It helps put you at ease. When you're at ease, you're going to make better decisions. When you're not chasing, you are going to make better decisions. When you need to chase, this will help you decide how much you chase. If you need to make 15% returns, maybe you need to look at real estate because you're not going to make 15% returns in the market. It's just not going to happen. So you look at this and you sit there, and I want you to look at me going, Paul uses retirement calculator the most out of any user in our entire system. The thousands and thousands of users we currently have, the thousands and thousands we've had in the past, and I'm the #1 user all time of retirement calculator. That should be your indication. This is how I start my week whenever I'm stressed with money. When I say stressed with money, like, oh, am I not doing enough? Am I doing too much, et cetera? I go, okay, Paul, put your numbers in. Paul, come on. What are you thinking about? Just yesterday, my brother came into my office. Mo, you know how we have that joint account, my brother and I?
No.
Oh, you didn't know that? We have a joint account for stocks.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah.
That joint account, Mikey said to me, he's like, Paul, what could that thing grow to in 40 years? And that alone was over $1 billion. And that doesn't include any of our real estate, any of our businesses, and any of our personal money, any of our personal, and nothing. So I look at that going, shouldn't that put me at ease? That's a big part of it. It's putting myself at ease, and I use this thing as my starting point. Does everybody understand that? Does everybody understand why I looked at that so quickly? Joseph. Hey, Joseph, do it. I'm going to buy the software just to put Paul's #1 spot in who uses the retirement calculator the most. Please do. And guys, guess what? That's just the starting point. From there, you look at all the other tools we have here, and these tools are all geared in some fashion of making life easier for you. But the community is where you go for engagement to talk to people about your ideas. Guys, I go back to our community on Monday. This is awesome. Great day. It's a red day. It's awesome. These are the things we need to do to make our lives better investing-wise. That's what's more important. Also, I use the community to find hidden gems of stocks. There'll be times when people make a mention of stock, I go, oh shit, that's a valid point. And I'll text Dalton, we got to look at this company. Because I'm not going to be the best, I'm not the best investor in our community. I hired one of the best investors in our community, Dalton. Dalton's done a phenomenal job. We have different investing styles, different investing companies we go into, but we apply the same kind of ideas to those. We use these tools to make sure that's how we find these great companies. How? Finding great companies. Another thing is 8-pillar search. I can sit here and pick all the pillars I want to look for. For example, if I want all of them, hit go, it's going to show me all the 8-pillar stocks. If I want to remove, if it's not important to me for revenue growth for some reason and net income growth, update, it's going to update all those. And I can change soon based on location, etc. All of these things. It's a great place to get these ideas. And the more ideas you have, the less likely you're going to force yourself. So let's go to an example for real estate. Whenever somebody wants to get into real estate, the first thing I tell them is go find 5 properties you don't care to own and make ridiculously low offers where if they accepted them, you'd want to own them. Okay? Because if you get rejected, you have to get used to being told no. Because what I find people doing is they find one stock. Yeah, I look on Twitter and I'll see, recently somebody on Twitter said to me something about Tesla, and his name was Tesla to 1,000 or some Tesla to 1,500. That was his name. I literally wrote, I said, your entire identity on Twitter is based on Tesla going 10x. I think you have a bias here about Tesla. Now, some people would say I have a bias. Mo, what car is coming in 2 weeks?
Tesla.
My Cybertruck is coming in 2 weeks. So I can hate the stock and love the company. That's very difficult. That's what I want you to be able to do. That's what we do in the community. We're able to sit there and divide our feelings about a company from our feelings about the stock. That's what's going to make you a better investor. You know, when I watch Shark Tank sometimes, and I'll see one of the sharks say, you know, I'm not really interested in this product, so I really couldn't get behind it. That's stupid. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all, right? Prime example, I'm a watch guy. If I could buy Casio for a cheap price, and I don't wear Casios, would I still buy Casio?
Probably.
I meant the company itself,
Yeah.
not the watch. Of course I would. Timex, of course I would. Just because I'm a high-end watch guy doesn't mean I can't see value in something that I don't necessarily wear.
Don't they say it from more of a passion perspective? Like, I don't want to even be involved in.
I think they say it from the perspective of I don't want to do this deal, so I just say that as a way of getting out of it. That's what my personal belief is.
I always thought it was like, I don't really want to. I'm not going to be passionate about a Casio watch, so I don't want to be involved in that. Every
That could
day
be
to get
true.
it going.
That should be true. Bill Gates is horrible. By the way, I just bought. Paul, since you're cocky me this morning, can you talk about if you came from an already wealthy family or not, but still love the channel, but chill fam? What does that have to do with anything? I did come from a wealthy family. What does that matter? I'm not following. Probably going to hit the card too, especially if you're with the Porsche. What's some face products you recommend? That's awesome. Paul, what's better? I think the Vacheron is probably considered better, but I'm not, I don't have any of those watches, but there are some pretty nice ones. Vacheron Constantine, I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce it. What was that?
Sounds right.
Well, yeah, but then you Google how to say certain things. Love Celsius. So is Celsius good?
I've never had one.
You never had one?
I don't like those things. They're full of chemicals and they're just, I don't know.
Is it like White Claw?
No, Celsius is like
energy drink.
Monster Energy or something.
Yeah.
There's no alcohol in it.
Oh, I thought it was like Monster with alcohol. What are High Noons?
Something with vodka in it. That's
Portnoy's, right?
Yeah. Like vodka and tequila, and I think he has a gin now or something. Those have alcohol. I've never had a Celsius. Nick, have you had a Celsius?
No.
Oh.
What's that? What's the iced tea thing? The Mike's
Sun Cruiser?
Oh, no, because when Daniel was here recently at the house, he had some iced tea mix thing, or Arnold Palmer Spike. That's what he had. So anyways, guys, these are the things that these tools add to the watch list. Guys, you know what's so great? Before I had a watch list, I'd have to sit there and recheck my stocks over and over. Now, look how many stocks I have on my watch list, 109. I just put my price in there, and I wait for my email telling me, Paul, the stock hit your price. You ready to buy? Or what are you going to do with it? Now, the other day on Monday, you know how many emails I got?
Oh,
like 5 or 6 emails. Yeah, saying, hey, the stock hit your price. That was what's incredible. That was what's incredible. So I use all these things, guys. The whole point, Twisted Tea, that's I think what it was. You're right, Zach. Wiki Ali, how do you decide on selling a company? Great conversation. Great conversation we've made a video on. Didn't we make the video, Tim? Maybe not. When to sell a company?
Yes.
Where's
when
that
to sell
video?
a stock?
Yeah, when to sell stock.
Yeah, we have it. I'll put it in the chat.
There's Dalton. Dalton, are you in our chat talking? Oh, got it. You're with companies, right? Yeah. So, guys, these tools just allow us to sit there and wait. You're going to do best in investing with patience. These tools are all geared towards patience. How do you make better decisions? You make better decisions by not forcing decisions. Sometimes doing nothing, especially in investing. Now, there's an old Fidelity study, and there's rumors that it didn't really happen, but I think somebody found it recently, that the best investment accounts they studied were the ones where the people lost their login and password. They did nothing. There's also the tin can theory. This was written about in 100 to
100 baggers?
100 baggers from Chris Mayer when he talks about if you bought the Dow companies of like 1960, the 30 Dow companies, you'd outperform the market doing absolutely nothing, and you'd own 26 stocks now after closings, after mergers, and all these things. Our goal is to do less. When you do less, when you do better research up front, when you have a better idea of why you're buying, and you understand that stocks can go anywhere in the short run, it allows you to make better decisions. If you understand what a stock should sell for and why, if it goes cheaper, even though fundamentals are the same or better, what are you going to do? That's the best situation for you. You should love that. Look at Amazon. We talked about Amazon. Amazon's flat over the last 4 years. If you loved Amazon at 170 4 years ago,
you should really love it now.
Revenue's up 55%, profits up over 100%. Why would you not be a buyer today?
Yeah, you should be a buyer now more than
4 years ago. Correct. You said it and forget it. Paul, you say you have shares in a company and waited too long to sell off, and now. So, what are your strategies? So, Second Shadow, this is all part of the conversation we're having here. I'm glad you brought this up. If it's down 70%, is it a buy now? So if you were, let's say you never owned it and that stock was down 70%, would you look at it today and buy it? That's part of the emotional part I'm talking about. That's how these tools and the community, because if you were in the community asking that same question, I'm sure people would be telling you, well, wait a second, is it a good buy now? Just because the stock goes down, when a stock goes down, look at Palantir. When that guy, Tom Nash, said it was worth $500 a share when it was at 45, I said I was interested at 5. It got to 583, and I was seriously considering it. But you guys know how I feel about Alex Karp and their financial. It's just a little questionable. But you can't sit there and look at a stock that's fallen 90% and say that's not interesting. Take a look. Don't let the fall make you go, oh, the stock. Now, for example, Peloton. Mo, when Peloton fell to $10, we were like, I still don't see the value.
Yeah, that was
It was so hard for me to find the value. Look at Carvana, the biggest turnaround of the last year. Carvana went from whatever price down to $3. I think it's at 150 now. What's Carvana at now?
137.39.
These are the things we have to discuss. These are the reasons why the community is so great. This community of people who just sit there and talk to each other and help each other out. These are the conversations that happen. This has been the best place for even me to feel good. When I watch comments in there, I watch a lot of comments, people talking, and it's such a respectful and safe place to have a conversation. Is there disagreement? Absolutely. But you're going to make better decisions when you're having a flip out mode going, shit, what do I do here? People are going to say, calm down. Your stock is down 70%. Evaluate it now like you don't own it. Evaluate it now like you don't own it.
$3.55 was the intraday low on Carvana.
Yeah. Don't bring up Carvana, Paul. Armageddon, follow me on Twitter at EMPaulG. I have a pinned post on my top books to read. That's very, very important. Guys, these benefits of the community are incredible. It's going to help you find ideas. It's going to help you feel better. It's going to help you when times are tough, and times will get tough. There'll be a time when we have 560 people watching this live stream right now. Every person here will be scared at some point having to do with money. That's an absolute reality. That's an absolute fact and reality. You will be scared at some point. And when you're scared, the last thing you want to do is be alone. You need to be with people, like-minded people who are able to take the situation. It's just like when you're going through a relationship problem. That's why you talk to other people, because you're immersed in it. And you're scared. Guys, I don't care who you are. Mo, have you been scared financially before?
Yeah.
Have I been scared before?
Yeah.
Dalton, have you been scared before? Yep. Nick, Tim, have you guys been scared before? Everybody says yes. That's what's important. Are you on the microphone?
I think the thing I think about is it's not, the problem isn't feeling the emotion. It's letting it make you to, force you to make decisions one way or another. Everybody's going to feel it. It's how you respond.
Or force you to not make a decision.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
It's really important sometimes to just not, it's okay to sit there and wait. And you sometimes need those people to help you. And if you find an investment, what's the best way to do it? Look at Dalton. Dalton's wicked willing in the community. He's very active. He writes thousands of messages a month. He talks to people about investing all the time. He's great at that, offering ideas. Everybody in the community can offer ideas about things. Just give you another perspective. Doesn't mean you have to take it, but just hear what other people are saying about it. What better way to give yourself peace of mind and be at ease with things? That's what's most important here. Guys, remember, I say this in every single video. This community and this software started because I had an Excel sheet and it was a data feed that I paid for just myself. And then it was literally people out there saying, how do I get that Excel sheet? And I said, well, you can't, blah, blah. Finally, I said, you know what? I'm going to go pay for the data. I'm going to make the software. And I made it about everybody else. As time has grown and we have thousands and thousands of community members and we're on our way to some big number and we're going to divide the community up into certain groups. That way everybody can be interacting. As you sit there and realize that the software has grown, I've started to realize, okay, it's not about me as much. It's got to be about everybody else. But it has helped me immensely. And guys, again, I don't need that help in the sense of I can just sit back, relax, and enjoy my flight. But I still use it because I still want to feel good at night. I still want to be able to sleep better at night. Hey, Paul, what are your thoughts on Shopify? Bobby, we'll be doing a F you. F you, Mo. And by the way, yeah. Hans. Paul, I opened a short position in the Michigan football program. Any thoughts? I used to be secure financially. Then I bought, Ryan, the same guy told me to chill. Good call. My husband lost his job 3 years ago. It was tough times. I started learning the stock market. Never again. Wow. I assume he found a job since then, Lippy?
Jeez.
Hans, you started out with such a great comment and then you had to throw Epstein into it. Listen, it is generosity, but it's not also, I do things in the community and the software that other people would not do. Other people would not, I look at this going, this is, whenever I talk to anybody having to do with this business, I would say number one goal is making the community better. Whenever we meet as a company, it's how do we make the community and the software better? That's 100% the goal at all times. At all times. Now, guys, you guys have seen in our conversations, we have all these tools right now, but as you know, behind the scenes, we are making a lot of changes because we have 4 YouTube channels now. And these 4 YouTube channels, what's important for us is that, is everything okay?
Yeah, Tim wants to talk to you.
So these 4 YouTube channels, we're going to start splitting up these tools into the separate 4 channels. Okay? The reason we're doing that is it makes us easier to market. Now, the good news is you can still get all these tools, but we have limited spots. And those spots are limited because we want to make sure that the people who really want all the tools for the future get them. So if you click on the link we're going to add here, everythingmoney.com/signup, this still gives you the opportunity now to get all the tools grandfathered forever. You will always have all of these tools and every tool we make. So guys, go sign up. Link, Nick's going to put the link in there, but it's a great way to get the software at the best possible deal we're ever going to offer. So make sure you do that. If you want to try it out, it's $7 for 7 days. Go try it out. It's $7, guys. You spend how much? And even when you do get the software, it's about $1 a day. Little over $1 a day. Come on. This is for making peace of mind, sleeping better at night, having like-minded people, thousands of them, having all these tools you need to do to make better decisions, and more importantly, sleep better at night. Do I think I make more money because of everything money community? Absolutely. Absolutely. I know that for a fact. I've seen investment ideas where I was like, oh man. I remember one of the first ones I ever did, Mo, was In Mode.
In Mode.
Do you remember In Mode?
I forgot about that.
And I made something like 30% in a month. And it was just a quick play. But I was just like, damn, that came to me from the Everything Money community, from a live stream like this. Google down. What guys, go to the sign up page. It is a monthly fee, or you can pay yearly for a nice discount. If you want to be grandfathered in Everything Money community and software for $347 per year, less than $1 a day, you'll have access to everything you have to offer, and you'll get that price point for life. Now, if you're brand new to Everything Money, when you click the link on the trial, you have to do $7 first. That's for 7 days to take advantage of the annual offer. If you're already a member of Everything Money community, you can lock in this price too by switching from monthly to annual at our best price. So if you've never been part of the community, it'll offer you $7 for 7 days, but right afterwards, it'll make you the offer if you want to join for the year. But guys, try it out. What's the worst that happens? I mean, this is literally a no-brainer. And our channel's 267,000 subscribers. Our other channels are growing. We're going to have millions of subscribers to our channels, and imagine how big the community would be. At some point, I'm going to stop the community growing because I'm going to sit there and say, I want to make sure it's quality, not quantity. That's really important to me. I used to think bigger was better at all times. I used to always think that. We talked earlier about what our view of money has been. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted by something. You're always going to sit there and have a financial decision to make. Always, no matter what happens in your life. Guys, it's so funny. We talk about like even poor people have financial things to think about. But I used to think bigger was better for everything. Not with this. I want it to be bigger, but it has to be better first. Then it goes bigger. And if we're sacrificing quality for size, we're on the wrong path. That's the big thing here. Remember, guys, you're the average of the 5 people you spend your time with. Do you want to have thousands of people like-minded? And guys, you know what's funny? Like Mo, we have a guy in the community and we call him Tesla Rob because he was a big Tesla bull and all these things. And I mean, he hates Bill Gates and he thinks Tesla's the best stock ever. He used to think that. Yeah. He's changed his mind on that.
Oh, has he?
Well, he sold his Tesla. So anyways, we disagreed on it. There are people in our community who like Bitcoin and crypto. Clearly, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
These are the important things to understand.
Shop is amazing.
What was that?
This person wrote Shop is amazing. We're going to record a video on Shop after this.
Yeah, Qualys fell. I got my notification tape for Qualys.
What is that? Tech?
Look it up. I don't remember what you mean, but like that's the thing. It's like it just notified me. Let's look at my Twitter poll. 298 votes. It's only been up for an hour and 5 minutes, 61%. I mean, so the 16 plus years are getting bigger. But again, guys, everythingmoney.com/sign up. Go check it out. So let me ask this question, guys. Let's hear this. If you haven't joined the community, give me the reason why. I want to hear this. I really want to hear the reasons why, because I look at it going, it's less than $1 a day, but more importantly, helps you sleep better at night, helps you make better financial decisions. It's a no-brainer. I use it every single day, literally every single day. It's absolutely incredible. So let me know why you're not doing it. I really want to hear these things. Yes, I'm very addicted to McDonald's. my wife likes size and qualities. That's her boyfriend. That's funny. Yeah, we do cover international stocks, Lippy. We absolutely have international stocks. Is the community on Twitter? No. But those who are in the community, if you follow me on Twitter and message me, I will follow you back because I want to have our community members engaging with me on Twitter. And I'll get an email all the time, an updated list. That way I can follow people. Because I really want the Twitter community to be an extension of our Everything Money community. But that means I'm only going to engage with the Everything Money community members. If they're willing to invest in themselves, I'm willing to invest in them. That's the big key here. That's the big key here.
But to his question, we do have a community chat inside our software, and that's where everyone gathers, and there's a bunch of different, if you want to show it actually, Paul, what it looks like.
What's that, our community chat?
Yes.
I think I already showed it right here. General chat. A lot of comments here, guys. I mean, tens and tens of hundreds of thousands of comments. It is incredible. I won't support a Michigan fan. Oh, Zach, you're so sad. Yet Zach is one of our first members.
He really is.
So Kevin, let me ask you a question. Your portfolio is too small. I don't make enough to cover it. Do you want your portfolio to get bigger faster? Do you want to sleep better at night? What do you spend $1 a day on? I just look at that going, your portfolio's small. Come on. This is an investment in yourself. This is an investment in yourself. Already spent all my money at McDonald's. Good call.
It's funny.
$30 a month for 40 years. Let me ask you a question, Steven. Let's say you got no financial benefit out of it, but you were able to sleep better at night and have a place to go to when you're most scared. Would $1 a day be worth it to you? Would sleeping at night, even if it's only a few nights a year, but being able to sleep, be worth it to you? That's the question I have for you. That's the question I have for you. Yeah, I get it. It can compound, but what else can compound? What are the things you spend $1 a day on that you could have put in the market? This is at least going to help you make better decisions, sleep better at night, do all these things. It's so worth it. Josh, I agree with you. Thank you very much for being a supporter. Why you never show your portfolio with more money like anybody else? Because, Alice, everybody else is breaking the law. This is what I love. Everybody else is breaking the law. They don't realize that. We have the #1 law firm in the world was consulting with us saying you cannot show your trades. You absolutely cannot show. In fact, they put restrictions on me that whenever I mention a stock, I have a lockout on when I can do a trade on it. Those guys just haven't been harassed yet. Why? Because the markets are going up. But watch what happens. As the market falls, a lot of these YouTube... By the way, they already have gotten in trouble. How many YouTube guys have gotten in trouble for the crypto when crypto fell to 15,000? Case in point. By the way, I talk about my portfolio all the time. I do show my portfolio. We have a video about the 18 stocks I own. I absolutely show my portfolio. I always do. So guys, let me show you guys Everything Money /sign up. It's so simple. You just go in here, create your account, skip the wait list. Boom. Use your first name, last name, email, password. I'm not a robot. Skip the wait list. Go right through it. It's so simple. Just go do that. All you need to do is eat out one day less than we get paid for it. Exactly, Josh. Forget about that. Lippy, EM is not my main business. I own 1,000 apartments and I have 5 other businesses upstairs on top of EM in the apartments. It is not our main business. That's the other reason why those guys have to do whatever is possible to whore themselves out to get views. It's funny. I saw a guy with 50% more followers than us and his record month is still lower than ours. Isn't that funny, Mo? And he has to do whatever is possible to make money on it. For me, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna make the videos I want to make.
By the way, and he makes the same video
over and over and over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Christopher, there's no course here. And I do show what stocks I own. And there's no course here. It's tools to make your life easier and better. One less trip to Starbucks.
Yeah, the whole point
Yeah,
of this
I invest in a lot of growth businesses.
The
What
whole
was that?
purpose of this is not to copy anything. We don't want you to copy anything that we do.
If you want
at
somebody,
all.
if you want somebody to hand you stock trades,
Have
one,
fun.
you're going to lose a lot of money, and two,
100%.
there's a lot of great shysters out there willing to do it.
Yeah.
If you're here to learn how to fish, we're the place for you. Because guys, the things you apply that you learn here can be applied to every kind of investment in every aspect of your life. But if you just want somebody to say, go buy the stock, first off, you're going to bail the second it doesn't work, or the second the short run doesn't work. All the stocks I own, literally every single stock I own except for one, I want to own for the next 20 years of my life.
I even have a trading channel. I don't want anybody copying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I want you to learn a skill that I'm teaching you that you can go do on your own. I have no interest in you copying.
Who bats
me.
for Mike Trout? Well, obviously now Mike Trout doesn't even bat for him. Who hits golf balls for Tiger Woods? They have to hit it
You gotta do
themselves.
it yourself.
But you still have to learn how to do it. That's the point here.
That's why we're not selling hype here.
Yeah. What would be a sensible amount? It all depends on what your goals are.
And
That's
also-
why you need a retirement calculator, McNuff.
Yeah.
You need to go to a retirement calculator and figure out what you need for retirement. You have enough. Let me show you guys this one. Well, because retirement calculator will tell you immediately, yes, no. If you're 30 years old, let's look at this. Let's say you're 30, you're going to retire at 65, you have 100,000 in savings, and you save 10,000 a year. You're going to increase your savings by 5% per year. So this year's 10,000, next year's 10,500, level 11. Let's say you get 9% returns, and during retirement, you get 7%, and you're going to live to 100. Inflation is 3.5%, and your current annual income is $75,000, and you want to have 100% of that in retirement. This is my recap of a generic 30-year-old right now. I just put in all the information it asked me. Very simple. Boom. Generate. Do you have enough for retirement? Yes. Okay. Scroll down. It tells me how much money I have at retirement. When I start withdrawing, today's value after inflation, you're going to die with $13.4 million. Now, let's say I save $1,000 a year. Do I have enough? Nope. And you need to save $5,952 more per year. So basically it's telling me I need to save $7,000 a year to hit my retirement goals. If I don't have enough, it'll tell me exactly when I go broke. I go broke at age 79. Boom, negative money in my account. So when you ask me how much money do you need to save, I don't know. What's your spending? If you spend $5 million, nobody has a spending problem is what make people go broke. Everything's about spending. Right? I spend a lot more today than I did 5 years ago. So I need more money to retire today than I did 5 years ago. It's all about. So guys, I still want to hear from you. Why aren't you buying? I buy a new phone every year. Thank you very much, Value Seeker. We appreciate it. Well, Hodo Prime, I don't agree with you. 4% isn't enough, isn't all you need to know. Now, if you want to work backwards and say that, sure, but you also need but if you withdraw 4%, if you live off that money, you'll probably do fine. I think you're right on that one. We have to think how to create a hype calculator. Yeah. Paul, there are free retirement calculators everywhere on the internet. Yes, Ryan, there are, but they don't come with everything here. And the ones on the internet do not include till death. Guess what? If you think that's, I mean, to me, like of course there's free retirement. Are there free stock analyzer tools? Find me that. Is there an Excel sheet? Sure, but does it have a data feed? Probably not. These are the things that you have to sit there and say, like, if you understood the things that go behind this, you wouldn't be so flippant with your remarks. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a lot. Tattooed Chef is done.
Didn't they go out of business?
Yeah, they did. They did go back.
Nice.
John Heekin, there are in the community, there are classes and courses in the community that you get for free that teach you how to use everything. They're community members you can talk to. That's all in there. There's videos just for community members to learn how to do everything. Like even on the stock analyzer tool, there's a video to the right. Here's how you do it. Go to stock analyzer tool. Boom, video here, how you use it. Very simple. Is SoFi good? Most of my cash flow goes to my record label and my clothing brand. I'm saving up to get the EM annual software. Thanks very much, Armageddon.
Awesome.
Hey, from South Korea. That's right, Michael. You're back from South Korea. I mean, you're in South Korea. I always remember that on there. You always say that. So what other questions you guys have about mentality, about about how you can make better decisions, how you can prepare yourself, how you can make money off corrections and crashes and bear markets. This is how you make the fortunes, guys. This is how you make the fortunes. I'm sure you can find $1 per month in your budget somewhere. $1 per day, I mean. So here's the history going back to 1950. Guys, this is why. Oh, the other thing is, we did a video the other day. From 2000 to 2020, the NASDAQ, the S&P did 7.5% a year with dividends. The average investor did 2.9%. Why? Emotion. Buying at the wrong time, selling at the wrong time. So, for those of you who think that $1 per day is too much, how much is 4% a year for 20 years? Well, let me show you. 4% a year for 20 years is over double your money difference. Is that worth it? If you could double your money an extra doubling, not doubling your money, an extra doubling of your money in the next 20 years by spending $1 a day, would you do it? Pretty obvious to me. Pretty obvious to me. Pretty obvious. Yeah. Value seeker, we screwed up on that one. Northwestern, tell me what you need me to explain for you in the software, because I really do want to get to that to you. I'd love to be able to answer that. I'm still waiting to marry a rich woman. So am I, Charlie. So am I. Yeah, we do. Julie, we do. We have a whole community about covered calls. And Dalton is an expert in covered calls. We do offer help with covered calls. That alone, I mean, we have guys in the community at $1 million in portfolio making $4,000 or $5,000 a month off covered calls. Easily. Like, that was easy for them. Mo's on pace. What's your annualized return you're on pace for this year in covered calls?
It's over 8 right now. Right?
Yeah, yours over 8. I think mine's
8.5.
Mine's like 6.7% is my is what I'm looking at for covered calls this year.
And Paul, you said that's a great way for people to get income in retirement. Obviously, there's people doing it out now, but
by the way, that's why you have to learn it now, so that when you get to retirement, you can live off that money alone.
Yeah, don't learn it in retirement. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to learn when you're getting there. You want to learn it now. I own 40 stocks with a community average stockholder. That's a good question, Matt. That's a really good question. I should ask that question in the community. By the way, I love owning 30 or 40 stocks. I have 18 right now. I want to get to 30 or 40. That's a great question. Hey, Tim, write that down for a community poll we have to put.
will do.
Yeah. How many stocks are in your portfolio? That's great. That's a really good question. I love doing polls. This is a great way to get a feel for where people are at any given time. Oh, Alice, I'll tell you right now, my returns the last 5 years are terrible. Before then, phenomenal. Beat the market 2 to 3% a year over long periods of time. Obviously, there are years I don't beat the market, but since COVID, have been absolutely terrible. And you don't need to see the results you want to find. Yeah, you can. If that's important to you, that's great. And I don't blame you for that. But if you want to see the returns back to 2004, handily, and don't forget the real estate and the businesses, I don't even include that in there. You include those, we're at huge returns. Here's the point. I basically missed out on big gains in the market, and my net worth still goes up every single year. Why? Because of my thought process that can be applied to everything I do. I apply the same thought process to stocks as I do to real estate, as I do to businesses. It's all about margin of safety, understanding what I'm buying, and make sure I'm investing at high rates of return. It's no different. That's why I said this in many videos. I get aggravated when people say, I'm a stock investor, I don't do real estate. It's like, no, you're either an investor or you're not. Now, can you have certain niches within real estate? Like, I don't do commercial, I don't do office buildings. To me, it's feast or famine. Well, don't do the poll yet, Tim. Oh. Yeah, don't do the poll yet. I want to put the poll in myself. But I'm just saying, just set a reminder for me to do that. Bum, 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 bum. When I see it, yeah, red days are great. Well, yesterday wasn't red day. Monday or Tuesday was. And by the way, look at Japan. The Nikkei went from down 10%, up 11%. I mean, it was insane. And the Nikkei from July 11th to the other day, it was down 25% in 3 weeks. So Thomas, I don't disagree with you. I have a hard time with Amazon. I do have a hard time with Amazon. And the reason being is their gross margin is just so all over the board. And people have these excuses. I do think Amazon is a phenomenal business, and their advertising portion is going to be extremely lucrative. It's just hard for me to sit there and say, what's it going to look like in 10 years? Now, with that said, if there's a sudden massive fall in Amazon, let's say they fell in half, I would be taking a very, very serious look at it and forcing myself to understand it. But that's one of the things that you'll learn as part of our community. Don't waste your time on stocks that you don't understand unless they look absurdly cheap. Then spend your time learning about them. How much return is enough to stop worrying about market crashes? So, Dad, do me a favor. What do you worry about with market crashes? I don't think market crashes are on my mind. They make me worry. I sit there and go, okay, the market crashes, but I also look at them as opportunity, right? I think to me, what matters more about market crashes is how close you are to retirement. The closer you are to retirement, you have to think to yourself, if the market fell 50% tomorrow, would it affect my ability to retire? And then you should adjust your portfolio from there. I don't think it's about, if you're 25, 30, and you have decades to retirement, don't worry about a market crash. Use it as opportunity. But if you're 60, going to retire in 5 years, you got to worry about a market crash. That could affect your ability to retire, depending on how much money you have. If you have 10 million in the bank and you only spend 200,000 a year, you don't have to worry about market crash. 10 million out of 5 million, you're fine. You're still going to be able to retire. If you have $1 million in the bank, you spend 200,000 a year, that's going to be a problem. That's what I think is most important there, Dad. Paul's dad is in the chat. He is. Yeah, Lumen was incredible. Have you seen that?
No.
Lumen Technologies, it was literally like 87 cents or something, and it went to like $6.
Wow.
Yeah, Amazon's flat for a long time. If Amazon isn't around in 10 years, the United States won't be either. I don't disagree with the like, what kind of world do we live in that Amazon is gone in 10 years?
It'd be bad.
We've gone back to
very
prehistoric ages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It would be something.
It would be absolutely incredible. It would be nuts to see that. And Amazon is a great company to have a conversation with everybody in our community. Let's see what the poll looks like right now. 338 votes, 62%, 1 to 5 years. That's incredible. And people are really chiming in. I'm going to follow Wesco. He's an EM community member. Look at that. There you go. Look at that. So let's see this. China to ruin Amazon. I don't know about that. Do you think brokerages should be investigated for being frozen on Monday? So, Lau, for real, that's a good question. I don't know how much of it had to do with just overload of the system, because software, if every single member of our community logged into our software at one time and overloaded it with 1,000 different commands, our system would fail. Now, we're not large enough where millions of people getting on would crash our system. We're still small enough where even if every single member of ours did, we'd be fine, because there are certain levels you have to hit. But the brokerages, it sucks. But these are the risks you have. And this is why we want you to be a long-term investor. That's why the emotional part's so important, because on Monday morning, when everyone's scared to death getting in their brokerage, you should have seen the comments in the chat. Great, red days, these are the things we live for. This is awesome. Sales, these are the things I want you to believe. This is why you join the community, because you don't want to be struggling to get in your brokerage account to sell stuff. You want to be like, oh, damn, I can't take advantage of the market right now and buy more stocks. But that's what I want you to worry about. That's what I want you to think about. I want you to use this community as a way to getting better and sleeping better at night. Do you ever choose to rebalance your portfolio? Great question, Matt. It's a great question for the community, because some people rebalance, some people don't. Remember, to be a really good investor, you have to let your runners run sometimes. That's why it's hard for mutual funds to beat the market. They're capped on how much percentage of a mutual fund can be one stock. But it goes against everything that makes sense. Because if a good company is running, now a mutual fund has to sell it in order to, it doesn't make any sense. So guys, again, everythingmoney.com/sign up. Go click there. $7 for 7 days, or you can upgrade to $347 for the year, an even better deal, less than $1 per day. This is a no-brainer. If you're serious about making better money and sleeping better at night, I don't know what you're doing. You got to join the community, and you'll get all the tools forever, because we are taking that away with our 4 channels. We are absolutely taking that away. That's what's important. Guys, what other questions you have? I got about 9 more minutes. Yeah, Northwestern, having a winner do well. Like my biggest winner right now is Sprouts Farmers Market. It's up over 3x in like a year and a half. Old Paul would have sold that thing. It's overpriced. I'm not gonna sell it. New Paul's like, listen, it could fall to 50. It could go to 4. I don't know where it's going, but it's a great company, and I'm not gonna get in the way of compounding, as Charlie Munger would say. I'm the genius who bought Microsoft $17 to $21 a share and sold it at 60 because it was overpriced by a little bit, and then never bought back in because it kept being overpriced. Now it's worth what intrinsic value is 250. That's the problem. And these are the things we have to learn in the community. This is why you have a community. This is why you rely on people, because then you can sit there and ask these questions and get people's input. That's so important here. So important. Martin, you do the first of every month. I think that's perfect. As long as you're picking a time frame and doing it, I think it's great. Tyler, thank you very much. Sprouts Chiefs, best stream so far. Thank you. We appreciate that. We're going to do a video on Disney next. It'll go out on our 24/7 channel. But again, if you want access to everything, everythingmoney.com. What other questions you have? What car are you driving these days? Does Josh have sweet cars?
Yeah, he's a car guy.
Is he?
Yeah, major car guy.
What does he think of my Cybertruck that's coming?
He does like a bunch of body kits and stuff. They're right over in Medina.
He's here in Medina?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's the one that said he was Medina, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
He's the one who does a lot of that stuff. Like outfits it to look more sporty and this and that.
Hmm.
What happened? 7 diesel. Nice. That's a nice car.
Oh, yeah.
Nice car and a nice engine.
Boom, boom. I'm over 60 and have some of my money in REITs, and should I reduce it to 30 for Uraj? That's a very personal question. It depends on so many other things of what you're doing when you're retiring, all those things. Again, those other hypesters would sit there and say, you do it's just, you got to remember, like, I don't know any part of your life. All I know is if you don't feel comfortable having that allocation, understand why that is and decrease if you want to. REITs have done the best based on a study I recently read from 2000 to 2020. They generated the best returns. Does that mean that going forward, it's the same thing? What kind of REITs are they? Are they office REITs? Are they apartment REITs? These are the things you have to ask. These are the things you have to understand. Paul should get Kanye's Cybertruck. There's only 3 of them. Sim Laugh, great question. How to choose between growth stocks and or NASDAQ ETF? I don't think there's anything wrong with the NASDAQ ETF at appropriate prices. It basically rides the growth stocks for you without you have to worry about which stock you're buying in and out of. Now, I always tell people, guys, we've actually talked about it internally about me going to 80% ETFs and 20% stocks, because I'm looking at going, why do that? Why even worry about that? I don't need to make 15% returns to live a good life. But for you, do you want to sit there and be worried about what company you're getting in and out of? ETFs are a great option. The NASDAQ ETF, the top 100, QQQ, at some point will be a great option. If you look at it from like June of 2003, when it hit the bottom, to now, it's massively outperformed the S&P 500. But you got to buy it at times when people are against tech. That's got to be very, very important. Do you regret buying BABA, Intel? So 1, I didn't buy WBA heavily and I made money on it. 2, I do not regret buying BABA at all, even though I'm down big on it. Intel, no, I don't regret it. And I didn't buy it heavily. It's literally it's literally 0.25% of my portfolio. BABA is maybe 3% of my portfolio. And Walgreens, I just got lucky and sold it and made profit. And when I realized how wrong I was, that's it. Just the same with CCL. BABA, I look at BABA and PayPal. I'm down on both those. I don't know. Time will tell. I think these are great companies that are misunderstood right now. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong on Intel. I have no idea. I'm down 40% on Intel, but I had one third of 1%, not even 1/3 of 1% of my portfolio. Yeah, about there. It's like, okay. It's enough, like I said, where if I lose it, I don't care. But if it does well and I 5X, I'm pretty pleased with that. Do you think it's a dead cat bounce? That's a good question, Lyle. I don't really know. That's interesting. Oh, good job, Mitch. Your cost basis is $72.50. Hans, I think PayPal is, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, every company I own, guys, I look at it going, I'm always going to say, maybe I'm wrong on them because I could be wrong on them. But if I apply the same process, if I use the community and these tools to apply the same process to my stock purchases, if I buy enough companies, the ones that do well are going to do really well. The ones that do bad are going to be limited because there's only X amount of dollars in them. But it's about finding the ones that can compound and compound and compound. And I'm just going to tell you, the ones that everybody's most fearful of are probably the ones that are sitting the best. Nice job, William.
Oh, wow. Only 15%.
Yeah,
Nice.
he bought him at the right time.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, Simloff. Thank you very much. Simloff, how many times did I answer that question? I answered the question thoroughly for like 45 seconds. Guys, 2 more minutes. Armageddon asked you a question, Mo.
When investors talk about a stock story, of how great it can be. I mean, think about Tesla. Tesla's story was unbelievable. It was going to, everybody in the world was going to drive a Tesla. Everything was going to go eco. Everything was going to go to batteries. Like, that's just not realistic. And the amount of cars that they would need to sell to hit the numbers that they were talking about, it's just not a realistic thing. So you can make the story as good as you want to make it, that it's going to be a $1,500 stock. You could talk about every AI company that's out there. AI is going to overtake the world. That's possible, but that is a very, very bold statement, and everything has to fire on all cylinders for it to happen. So you can make the story as good as you want to make it. Look at Pfizer. They did a good job getting the vaccine out, but look at what they're doing now. The vaccine's nobody's taking it anymore. And the story was that every year it was going to be vaccine, and it's just not the case anymore. So it just doesn't. There's a perfect example. I just thought of that one right now.
Yeah, I mean, look at NVIDIA. I mean,
NVIDIA, yeah.
I don't know where NVIDIA is going, but every story, every stock that goes up has a great story. Every stock that goes down has a bad story because news follows the stock price.
I mean, guys, back when Meta was $88, like we talked about earlier, the story was absolutely atrocious. And just 6 months later, it was the best story of all time. You would have thought Meta was the greatest thing since sliced bread, like it was before the $88 a share. That's it. Just follow that story and don't get caught up in it, though.
As Professor Oswath says, a story without numbers is a fairy tale. Numbers without a story is an Excel sheet. My personal opinion is I'd rather invest in the Excel sheet than the story. If I'm going to pick one or the other and I can't do a combination, I'd rather have the Excel sheet. Because if I apply that to enough companies, it will do well. That's been proven time and time again. I've run 30-year back tests on just caring about the numbers based on 2 or 3 value metrics, and it always beats the market. The story, that's how you get your 100 baggers. Because it's story mixed with fundamentals. You got to have a long runway. You have to do all these things like that. But if you just focus on the story and buy the stock, basically what you're saying is no stock price is too high.
And it's not going to go well.
Correct.
It's not going to go well.
Yeah.
Every single stock had a beautiful story in 2020 coming out of in March and April. As we bounced off that 40% drop.
Did you see what Jay said?
No.
Please be angry at Kathy Woods again. You're so soft at the moment. Want to see angry fall. Thank you, Jay. I do get very angry behind closed doors. I used to do it a lot on the channel, and I still do. But I'm personally trying to be a little bit more. Kathy Wood's probably going through a lot of shit right now, personally. Do I think she's a charlatan? Yes, I do. I do think she's absolutely incompetent. I think she has no understanding of value. I think she's a hypocritical piece of shit. She criticized, when she was at $140 a share, she criticized Warren Buffett for being ancient and Michael Burry for being ancient. When she was at $40 a share, she talks about value investing and her investments are deep value, and she has no idea what she's talking about there. Does it make me angry? Yes. That was a funny comment, though, by Jay. Yeah. All right, guys.
Can I go over one more story?
Yeah, go over one more story.
My favorite story of all time, Peloton. People are going to put these in their house, and gyms are going to die, and people are going to only work out at home forever. This is the most ridiculous story I've ever heard in my life.
And we said, go look at our videos, guys. Go look at our videos from early 2021, when we sat there and said, they still, like, we couldn't get behind the, we're like, yeah, Peloton's selling it crazy, but they're not making money.
Yeah.
I mean, just that's how we.
And it's
Same with,
unrealistic for long term.
guys, I will say this. I will be cocky here when I say this. A lot of the companies we warn people about either have played out to what we thought, or there'll be now NVIDIA, for example, Amazon, for example, those companies that just compounded at an absurd rate. And anybody who says that they thought those companies would compound the way they did over the NVIDIA over the last 2 years and Amazon over the last 12 years, I've literally gone back and looked, never seen anybody from 12 hit the mark on where Amazon was going to be in 12 years. Again, was I wrong on those? 100%. But do I think NVIDIA at 140 is a good value proposition for the future? I do not. Do I think it's going to be hard for them? I don't know what's going to happen in the short run, but I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up 10 years from now and it's not at 140 still. Guys, thank you very much for your time. You need to go sign up, everythingmoney.com/sign up. Go there, $7 for 7 days. You will not regret it. Be part of the best investing community on YouTube, and that is subjectively a fact. See you later. Bye.
See you guys.